bruising, splotches of metallic grey tinged with rose. Her sister looked tarnished, like old silver. It wasn't the shock she had expected, but there was something, despite the bruising and the swelling, that was essentially different about Louisa's face. Alice couldn't help but wonder if she would ever do this herself. Would this be like a kind of divorce from oneself? Would you have to get to know yourself all over again?
Excellent!
Dr. Harding's voice cooed like a dove as he admired his handiwork.
Very little swelling considering this stage of the game.
Alice saw her mother wince at the word game. Game? That's all it is for him. A game! Alice thought back to the conversation they had had in the doctor's office less than half an hour before. The preparation conference, he called it, 4 days following the surgery. This way they might all be ready at the unveiling. Her mother had popped up from her chair the moment Dr. Harding entered the room. "Everything all right, Doctor?" She was a veteran agent for the Rasa division, called the Company, under the authority of MI6, Britain's secret intelligence service. But of course the Winfield family was not undercover with Dr. Harding. He was one of perhaps 4 or 5 plastic surgeons who worked on these special agents when they decided they no longer wanted to serve. And that was what Alice's sister Louise had decided. She no longer wanted to be part of the most elusive and secret of all the branches of the British intelligence agencies. But why? Alice had asked herself this a dozen times every day since Louise had announced this decision. Louise was 6 years older than Alice, and she was celebrated as much as a spy could be. 2 years ago, Louise had been advanced to Level A missions. Her work had been impeccable. Her renown was not public, of course, but her reward had been increasingly sophisticated missions. Why would she give all that up? The Winfield family was part of an ancient tradition dating back to the court of Henry VIII and William Morfydd, the spymaster for the king. It was Morfydd who had, over a short stretch of time, come in contact with 2 people whose faces were completely forgettable. Non-faces that were like Tabula Rasas, or blank slates. These void-like faces haunted him. They were not officially spies when he first encountered them. Indeed, many of these people were petty criminals. But what perfect spies they would make, he thought. No one would ever remember them. The king agreed, and thus the division later called Rasas was formed. The Winfields came from a long line of Rasas. The Rasas had served kings, queens, and country for hundreds of years, through countless wars. And now Alice's big sister was leaving. She and Louise had done so many missions together. Not Level A for Alice yet, just B and C levels, but Louise had promised to be her guide. Now she felt abandoned. And, yes, shocked. Not by this new tarnished face that Louise had been given, but because of the promise she had broken.
Everything is perfect,
Dr. Harding was saying. No, not everything, thought Alice.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results. And more importantly, I think Louise will be too. She's been very clear in what she wanted all along. Definitely not film star looks, like Greer Garson or Vivien Leigh. Ever since the movie Gone with the Wind, everybody is going for the Vivien look, the delicate little nose, but no film stars for our Louise.
Alice winced as he called her our Louise and waved his hand dismissively. In one simple gesture, he was banishing some of the most beautiful and talented women in the world.
My ideal patient. Together, Louise and I worked to create something highly original.
That was the first time the queasiness had seeped into Alice's stomach. The doctor had cracked a rather toothy smile. It seemed to Alice that he had about 5 too many teeth crammed into his mouth. He continued,
I've never enjoyed being a copyist.
He paused briefly.
Now, before we go in for the unveiling,